Please sit in any comfortable meditative posture with your hands on your knees in Jnana or Chin Mudra, head, neck, shoulders, back, all in a straight line, eyes and mouth gently closed. Become aware of the whole body from the top of your head to your toes. Awareness of your head, neck, shoulders, back, arms, hips, legs, the whole body. Shift your awareness to your breath, normal spontaneous breathing coupled with awareness. I am breathing in and I'm breathing out. And I'm aware I'm breathing in, I'm aware I'm breathing out. Let this be the form of your awareness for some time. Now shift your awareness to your eyebrow center of Bhumadhya. And at the Bhumadhya, visualize the form of your Guru or your Ishtadevata or the candle flame, the representative of the Guru Tattva. Maintaining your awareness on this experience, we shall chant the mantra Om 3 times together, followed by the Shanti mantra. Taking a deep breath. Om. 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 Om Sahanavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Hari Om Tat Sat. Gently rub your palms against each other. Place them on the closed eyes. Experience the warmth radiating from your palms to your eyes, to the brain, to the whole body. And then gently move your palms away. Open your eyes. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namo Narayan. Jai. So, with this, we begin our concluding session of the Chakra Shuddhi Series 2, Manipur and Anna. We have till now seen 4 chakras: Radhar, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anna. And these 4 are very crucial. And this gives us a good idea, good basis. And it is essential that we know that the science of chakras is not merely for higher spiritual experiences, but it is a tool so that we can improve the quality of our life and take our life to a different dimension. Many things which we were not able to perceive earlier, we can start understanding, we can start modifying, we can start changing. Many times change is not easily possible for us, but through the practices of Chakra Shuddhi, the change becomes possible because remember, we use the higher chakras to nourish, nurture, balance the lower chakras also. Many times Muladhara and Swadhisthana show up many old stuff which we had buried away deep. It is not available to our sight. So we think all is good. Out of sight, out of mind. However, it still creates problems within the agitations, that my mindedness, the psychological fluctuations, the changes in our physical abilities, they all can be related to the previous samskaras which we have buried deep. Using this process of chakra shuddhi, we can work on these chakras, we can work on these samskaras and make a difference in our life. So this is what is very essential for all of us to know. And before we go ahead and start the practice, I would like to know if there are any specific practices which any of you are not clear about or you are not sure about. And if so, if there is that specific practice which has to be repeated, you can do that. I hope there is none. But if there is, this is the time that you can bring it out and we can work on that a bit more.
Swamiji, just a clarification uh, about the Nadi Shodhan Pranayam. Should, because I probably have missed a sequence, that's why it's a clarification. Should
Mhm.
should that be done at the start before the Agya Chakra part of it,
Yes,
or
yes,
oh, oh,
yeah. Ideally, before we start Chakra Shuddhi, we should do Surya Namaskar or some asana, then some Nadishwaran Pranayam, and then we should start this. However, some of us have just finished dinner. Some of us are about to start their breakfast, and some of us are just getting ready to retire to bed. So, given the change timeline all over, therefore, I have dropped that out because after many of you who have eaten dinner, for you to perform Surya Namaskar is not a very good idea. That is the reason why that has been left out purposely.
but in our individual practice, we should
In your
we should
individual practice, you should always first do asana, then pranayam, then go into chakra.
just a quick again, Swami, Surya Namaskar means once or twice, or any recommended 3 times or
With
8 times.
starts with 1 round, do 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 3 rounds to 6 rounds is more than
Okay, sure.
depending on our age and our other situations. 3 to 6 rounds is more than enough. But we have to start with 1 round. If we are new, then start with 1 round.
And Swamiji, Chakra Shuddhi should always be done in a sitting position,
Yes,
not when you're lying down.
not like this cannot be done in mental.
Namo Narayan, Swamiji.
Narayan.
Swamiji, when we do these asanas or chakra suddhi practices, some of them are supposed to be done in a vajrasana.
Mhm.
So which part we're supposed to switch, like for the Agna Chakra
Hey,
or Mani?
for Ajna, we are practicing only, we are doing Shambhavi Mudra. But then when we come to actually here in this Chakra Shuddhi sequence, we do not have we do not need to go into you see in a different sequence, then we need to go into Vajrasan for Mahabandha and all. But here, you can do sitting in your comfortable meditative posture. You can do that.
Swamiji,
Uddiyana Bandh also, you can just sit in Siddhasan and do Uddiyana Bandh. Jalandhar also, Moon Bandh also. There's no need for going into Vajrasan in the Chakra Shuddhi series.
Swamiji, we did for the Manipura, for the Shwanasan, So
we had done Shwan Pranayam in
Shwan
that
Pranayam, sorry.
because that is something which is a preliminary to Agnisar Kriya. Agnisar Kriya is preliminary to Uddiyana Bandh. So when we practice Uddiyana Bandh, when you are sitting in Vajrasan, that is the easiest, that's the best. But when you are doing in this sequence, you can just sit and raise the shoulders a bit, lock your elbows. So instead of sitting comfortably like this, you are sitting, the shoulders have come up, and then we can do Shwan Pranayam, we can do Nisa, we go into Uddiyana, all that. We can do it with Siddhasana also. For us to practice, for us to understand, for us to know, then it is essential to go into this. But otherwise, we can sit in Siddhasana and do the whole thing in Siddhasana. So it's easy, you don't have to make a movement.
Swamiji, I have a question on the theory. If there are no questions on the practices, then I'll take that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Swamiji, I was reviewing the notes of the chakras. Basically, I have a conflict between the Manipur and the Anahat, because Manipur is about, focusing on taking action on my needs as an individual. But then Anahat is understanding that I am no different from, everybody else. Like,
No, that is not Anahat. In Anahat, it is I exist, you exist, we exist. So it is not that I am no different from others. Others are same, we are same. No, it is not that. The point is that I realize that I also exist. I realize you also exist. And I realize that both of us have to coexist. That knowing of coexist, ability to reach out and have empathy, that is Anahat. And later on, as Anahat becomes more and more prominent, the desire to reach out, to help others becomes more and more common. But at no point is it in Swadhisthana or in Muladhar. If our Muladhar and Swadhisthana are the boundaries are not set properly, then we do not understand if it is us or it is them. If something is happening and it is paining me, but it is helping that person, so I feel no, I am obligated to do that job because it will help that person. I am suffering due to that. I am not able to make out. That is not anahat which is active. That is imbalanced pratishna. So in anahat, it is not loss of our bodily functions which is advocated, but it is I exist and you exist. and both of us exist. And that coexistence is emphasized.
Right. So my questions, you answered part of the question already. But so my question is that when somebody does wrong to us, let's say I was bullied as a child, you know, so but and we are taught to, forgive and forget, and in the spiritual path, don't carry any, grudges, forgive and move on. But then it somewhere exists in the Muladhar, or that though it is buried, but then when I bring it out, and the resentment comes in and the anger comes in again, right? So isn't that a deterrent? And the feeling that there has to be, now that person has become somehow different than us, and so I'm kind of getting confused in the anahat and saying, okay, I have to have empathy for the person, and at the same time the anger and the resentment.
You have to remember
Yeah.
that you have to have empathy for the person, but you do not have to have antipathy for yourself. If that person has bullied you, if that person has done wrong to you, if that person has harmed you in the past, then it is very essential that you know that we carry within us that small child who was hurt and who expected that somebody will stand up for that child, because that child cannot stand up for itself. And it is our duty to stand up for that child. Otherwise, you create a conflict within. When a situation arises, then it is very essential that we have to stand up for that child. We have to acknowledge the pain, the sorrow, the whole trauma which that child has undergone.
Not only a
Not
child,
mean,
Swamiji.
does not mean that you have to be swayed completely by that. You have to acknowledge that, and you have to factor that in your decision. You were asking.
So I was just saying, not only as a child, of course, but even as an adult, uh, somebody does wrong to you should not be just, looked at as your own internal learning. But
Yeah, so what you're basically trying to say is that somebody comes with a gun to you, you just say, oh, okay, kill me, that gives you pleasure and all that stuff. That is nonsense. Yes, there are people who have been able to do that. But who are those people? They are people who have been able to reach that level. There is a story of one Buddha. He was sitting in a place near the marketplace, and then he decided to take a stroll in the marketplace. And uh, as he was walking, there is a huge commotion and people came running in that direction. So Bhagwan Buddha just stood and observed what is happening and continued walking his way. Everybody said, oh, please don't go, please don't go. There's a mad elephant. He's out of control. He's just crushing anybody and everybody. And everybody ran away. But Bhagwan Buddha kept walking. And that elephant came charging angrily at him. And as he came closer and closer and closer and closer, suddenly the anger you could see came down. And as he came near to Bhagwan Buddha, he just sat down comfortably like a small baby elephant. Oh, yes, this is what I know. This is Atma Bhav. So next time you go into a marketplace and you hear somebody tell that the elephant is there. So no, 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 no. I have to activate my Atma Bhav. So I don't do this, I don't do that. And what will the elephant do? He's not concerned with your Atma Bhav. He'll just pick you up and throw you away. Then in that case, the story goes that the person who was telling you run away, he also, why didn't you have Atma Bhav with that person? Why do you decide to have a selective Atma Bhav with only the elephant? Because this is in the mind. This is just an intellectual exercise. This is not an experience. When you have that experience, then yes, you don't have to worry, you don't have to have all that is okay. Christ said, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. But that is not a moral preaching. That is an exalted state of mind where you are in Sahasrara, where the whole world becomes one. That experience which Arjuna had in the Vishwarupa Darshan in Bhagavad Gita, when we have that experience, at that point, you can say that I don't hold a grudge against this person, that person, that person. I don't have to do anything again. But in the foreseeable future, I don't think any of us is going to reach that level. So therefore, then we have to be very practical. There is an injury which has taken place. That injury needs to be neutralized. We do not have to go hammer and tongs against that person. Oh, you hurt me at that time, so I'm going to bash you and I'm going to do this, that, we have to you. No, that is not what is expected. But acknowledging that yes, that person has hurt me and that has created a lot of resentment within me, and I have pushed it down, and just like a festering wound, it was sitting down there and just creating more and more muck. Now, let me bring it out. Let me face it. Let me understand it. Let me acknowledge the pain I had undergone. Yet, I acknowledge that pain with a higher awareness so that we decide to act, not react. When we react, we are creating more problems for us. But when we respond or when we act, then we are able to channelize that emotion. One of my friends decides that he is going to defeat me in a game or in a study or in anything. What can I do? Can I just get back at him and have a big argument? That's one way. But another way is that okay, if you can score 100 marks, I will also score 100 marks plus I will do something extra. In that, I'm using that energy, but I'm doing it for my improvement, not to put him down. When there are two lines and you want to make one line larger than the other, or when you want to make another line smaller, instead of trying to rub that line off, draw a longer line just next to it. Automatically, that line becomes shorter. But drawing that longer line is more hard, not so easy. So people always want to wipe out that other line. No, never works. In spiritual life, you have to acknowledge that something had happened. It created problem for me, and I am not balanced due to that. I acknowledge that and I heal that wound which was there within. Allow that uh, knot which has been created has to be released. If you have got if you see the story or not story, but if you see chimpanzees or gorillas or the apes, when they give birth, they are all cuddling the child and all that stuff. And if unfortunately that small baby dies, then what happens? The mother just sits with the baby to the heart, doesn't eat, doesn't drink, doesn't do anything. 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, 1 week, 10 days. And after that, gradually, the mother leaves the baby away and starts walking ahead in life. Right? This is what happens in humans. In humans, that doesn't happen. Because when that incident has taken place, immediately I want to show myself to be a very good person. Or due to so many reasons, they are unable to resolve that issue. If that mother, you forcibly take the baby away from the mother, the first day itself, the mother is not going to be able to resolve her issue. In that 1 week or 5 days or whatever is the situation, she resolves her issue. The emotional balance, the everything is balanced out, and then she moves on. We need to resolve that out. And the way to resolve that out is as you practice Chakranusandhan, as you practice the Chakra Shuddhi practices, the energies start coming up, the thoughts start coming up. And when that starts happening, then you have to use the practice of Antarmauna. In the morning, we are doing a very short practice of Antarmauna. At the moment, we have become aware of the sounds. But in the same manner, we have to go a few steps ahead, become aware of the thoughts. And it is very difficult to become aware of the thoughts. It's much easier to become aware of the sounds. And once you become aware of the sounds, and then those sounds trigger a thought or a memory or an emotion within us, then you start observing that thought. When you observe that thought, you're just aware of what is happening. There is a cycle which is being played out, a loop. And then suddenly, sometimes it branches off into something else, into third thing, fourth thing, fifth thing. Become aware of that. Follow it backwards. And you will slowly, over a period of time, start becoming aware of inner things coming up, thoughts coming up which we thought we had left behind, but they are buried deep. They start coming up. So we allow that to come up. When we allow that to come up, and then we continue the Chakra Shuddhi practices on a regular basis, then there is a healing, there is a resolution of those samskaras which keep, keep, keep taking place. And then a point comes when one after the other, after the other, after the other, those things start going out, and you feel lighter, you feel healthier, you feel more energetic, and that is reflected in your body, in your mind. That is how we have to progress step by step. It is not just simple practices, but it is practices combined that has a very powerful impact. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Swamiji, a technical question again. The different chakras which are there, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, and the Manipura. So I'll take the example of Mooladhara itself, wherein initially in the first few, this thing is yet said that a flower with 4 petals with a
Lotus.
circle, lotus with the 4 petals with a circle, with a square, and the circle and the downward showing triangle. So. I mean, visualization of that was, I mean, it's just not happening.
It will take time.
Okay.
It will
And
take a lot of time.
is it important to keep that sort of a figure or a picture in mind when one is doing the Mooladhara?
At this point of time, it is not needed.
Okay.
But eventually, each chakra has got a yantra.
Yes.
Each chakra has got a yantra, and you must observe and do practice on the yantra. But that is something which we should do a bit later on. Now we just get familiar with our chakra system.
Okay.
That is essential. And that's where we start healing ourselves. We start getting rid of all that unwanted debris which is there, clearing ourselves, making ourselves light. And when you have our computers itself, when we install lots of programs onto the computer, what happens? We have many computer experts here. One of them
So it
explain.
So you have to clear the temporary and the cache and from time to time so that or else it starts slowing down significantly.
Yes. And sometimes there is, they say there is some drivers have a conflict with each other.
Yes.
And when the drivers have a conflict with each other, they slow down the system, and many times it goes into a loop, and you see a blue screen. Right?
Yes.
So what is that? What is that? That's
That
exactly what happens inside here. There are conflicts like Shilpa was mentioning. Oh, Anahat says, I empathize, oh, I forgive. But Manipur says, no, I'm going to take revenge on that fellow. Pakistan is confused. What has to be done? Muladhar doesn't know. So what is it to be done?
Mm, mm.
We need to know which driver has to be activated at what point of time. These conflicts you cannot resolve intellectually because these are not intellectual problems. These are on a much subtler level. And until and unless we don't resolve these conflicts, there is no progress in life.
Mhm.
We might grow older physically, but spiritually, we have not grown older. We have not grown wiser. And those samskaras which we have not resolved in this life, we are going to take with us in the next life. And we have to do the same thing. When I'm going for an engineering college course and I'm not able to clear one exam, but still I'm sent into the next year. And what is said?
Allowed to keep terms.
Allowed
Yeah.
to keep terms, 80 KT.
80 KT.
So when you have 80 KT, what does 80 KT mean? That you have samskaras of the past life. They're still with you. Get rid of them. You are not going to, it's not possible that you will move ahead without that. Why do you keep it for future? You have an opportunity now, get rid of it now. Even if you get rid of a part of it, you never know. It's like the whole thing comes down, the interest doesn't grow exponentially. That we need to work out wherever, whenever, however, at our pace. We cannot push ourselves because if we try to push ourselves, then there is a lot of problem. And therefore, we have to go slow, we have to go comfortable, we have to do the things very comfortably. But we should keep on doing this. And when we do this, then there is a lot of shift which takes place. And many times, for some time, there is nothing which is happening. But after some time, suddenly, as if there's a miraculous shift which takes place. Many things happen, but we need to be perseverant. We have to do it for a long period of time, not for a long time every day, but short time, long duration, long period of time. Then there is a change which takes.
It'll also be an emotional sort of a roller coaster, Swamiji.
It
Could
can
be.
be.
Yeah.
It can be. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Many times, especially Muladhar and Pakistan, they can be really very heavy roller coaster. It basically depends on how much you have buried, how many skeletons are there in your closet. All those skeletons they have to come out bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. And then we have to make use of those skeletons so that they help us in our present condition. We don't have to carry those skeletons on us like a cross and you are being crucified for it. No, that skeleton is not there to drag you. That skeleton is there because that can be harnessed into something different. That energy which was locked, that needs to be acknowledged, healed, and then that energy, the learning of that incident drives us further. That is what we need to do.
True.
तो थोड़ा सा अभ्यास का करें या केवल गपशप ही करना है. This session is all yours. Whatever you say, whatever you say.
Discussions are so interesting that it feels like as the group decides.
If you have questions and you want them answered, that is also okay because you have the recordings. You have the you can keep doing the recordings every day. Hopefully, you are. I'm open with whatever.
Swamiji, I have one question. That after all the Chakra Shuddhi we read in Jnaneshwari, that a yogi becomes very clear like a golden, he doesn't become old. But we don't see any yogis like that who are really very young looking, even though they are old, and they are having some golden color around them. With our own eyes, we don't see like that.
Yeah.
So why?
Because we are not blessed enough to be able to witness that. But people do exist. There are stories about Mahavatar Babaji. People have seen him so many times. And only when he wants, he discloses himself to people. Otherwise, people are not able to see him. There is story of Asatthama, who is supposed to be for a different reason, but he's continuing to live. So there are cases where these things can happen. It is said about Shuddhi Maharaj, son of Vedavyas himself, that he is forever 16. Not in the way some people want it to be, but in a different dimension altogether. He's looking always young, like a 16-year-old boy, but he's so old. What does this indicate? That these people, they exist in a different dimension, and as and when they want, they can manifest in our life. You done Narmada Parikrama? We had discussed about that earlier. You have done Narmada Parikrama, right?
Yeah. Actually, I did Narmada Paribhraman, not
So,
fully with all rules.
yeah.
No.
But then you would have felt the presence of Guru. You would have felt her guiding touch when you are about to make a mistake. It comes in form of somebody or the other and shows you the direction. It happens. Have you experienced it? It happens. But for that, you need to be able to tune in at that level. This is a sadhana. I purposely brought the topic of Narmada Parikrama because in Narmada Parikrama, what do? You don't do anything specific. You chant a few stotras in the morning, in the evening, every day near the Narmada, you do the Aarti. You live in a very, very simple life. You beg for alms. That is all what you do, and you have to walk all the day. You don't have to do
Yes.
anything more than that. You have to do one thing, to Niran, constant remembrance. If nothing else, you just have to keep on chanting Narmade Har, Narmade Har, Narmade Har. What is that? When you are doing Sumiran, how different is it? You are doing so hum. You can do the same thing with another mantra. Narmade Hara, Narmade Hara, Sitaram, Om, Om. When we do that, we are doing yoga sadhana, but it is being done in a different manner. In a manner where people of different strata can also join in. It is not possible for everybody to do all the things. So, our ancestors have provided ways by which this chakra shuddhi takes place. We may or may not know, we may not be aware about it, but it still keeps happening. It is said about Dhritarashtra. We know Dhritarashtra, right? Dhritarashtra was the king of the Kauravas when the Mahabharata war took place. He was the step brother in a way of Bhishma, and he was the father of the Kauravas. He was the uncle, the Pandavas. And many Nimius oversight has been attributed to him. Lots of partiality has been attributed to him. It is said that it was his desire to be king that translated into the behavior of Duryodhana. So we can understand that he was not a very pious person. But when he uh, went into Vanaprastha and they were sitting, it is said that they went into the state of meditation, and within a very short time, 4 5 days, it is said that the whole body just got reduced to ashes because the entire life, whatever he had done, he was able to convert that all those experiences into a spiritual dimension at that time in life, not before. And the net result was that he was able to move ahead. So there are different ways. Final pathway is this. We are not that strong. We are not that blessed to be able to see all those higher types of people, but never doubt for a moment that it does happen. There are many people who have experienced this. There are umpteen number of people who have seen Ashwatthama. Very clear. Can that happen? There are many people who have had such experiences with Mahavtar Babaji. Can that happen? And these are just two examples I'm giving from two different dimensions. But that does happen. And it is not easy because the practice of Chakra Shuddhi and purification and going higher, if it were really so easy, by now everybody would be masters. Today, you have got 101 courses which tell you that I will awaken your Kundalini like this 15 days, 20 days, 90 days, whatever. I God only knows now what is going on. No, it's not possible. If it were really that easy, everybody would have been able to do it. It doesn't work that. Nature is very, very careful because as we awaken the higher faculties of our chakras, we are bestowed with great powers. And until and unless nature is not sure that we are capable of handling those powers, she will not let us move ahead. There will be different blocks, different situations. You are sitting and suddenly office came in, or a person came in, this happened, that happened, that happened, that happened. You get blocked. And on the other hand, it also happens that, oh, it was not going to happen, but suddenly this got cancelled, that got cancelled, and I have time and I'm able to do this. Both the things happen. Instead of worrying about that, what we need to worry about is the knowledge that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step and progresses one step at a time. Don't try to jump. Don't try to go too fast. You will not reach anywhere. Rather, work on what is present. And as you work on yourself, and you work on yourself, and you work on yourself, you might fall back, but pick yourself up again and keep walking. You might feel you're not going anywhere. Doesn't matter. Keep doing. And then a day will come, then you have moved much more than you had even imagined you could. For that, you need perseverance. Patanjali, Sri Patanjali has spoken about being able to do that. Abhyasa vairagya abhyam tanibhutaha. The vrittis of the mind needs to be still. And to do that, you need abhyasa and vairagya. The definition of abhyasa, tatra sthitau yatnaha. You have to be focused and you have to be after it. In the last verse of Ramcharitmanas, Tulsidas has very clearly said, कामिहि नारि प्यारि जिमि लोभी कहीं जिमिरा तिमि रघुनाथ निरंतर प्रिय लागिहि मोहिरान यावर रामचंद्र शंकर हरियो. What does he say? कामिहि नारि प्यारि जिमि. In the same way as a sensual and lusty man is smitten by a woman and he thinks of the woman all the time, then in the same manner, or lobhi kai jinidam, there is a lobhi, there is a greedy person who is only thinking about money all the time, all the time. Oh, look, I can earn money here. Oh, look, I can earn money there. Oh, look, I can earn money there. Tulsidas ji says, Kimi Raghunath Nirantara, Priya Ladhihi Mohira. Let my mind be equal to. Swami used to say this. He has not said more than, he has not said greater than. He has said just equal to. Just my heart is smitten by this woman, and I'm thinking about the woman all the time. But in the same manner, let my heart be smitten by the love of the Lord, and I think of the Lord all the time. Equal to that. You don't have to be more, just equal to that. When you have equal to that, then there's a transformation which takes place. That transformation needs to happen, but for that, you need to persevere. It doesn't come easy. If you want to have the nuclear button in your hands, it's not easy. You need to be elected as the president of the country, and then you do so many other things. Only then you can have that nuclear briefcase in your hands. That is how difficult 100,000 times harder is this path of self-realization. Today, self-realization, people are afraid to speak about it, but that is the ultimate goal of human life. Who am I to be able to experience that? That is the ultimate goal. And the ultimate goal of Chakra Shuddhi is also to thin out the layers of ignorance and clear them so that the light shines forth. That is important. And if we are able to take even one step in that direction, the universe takes 10 steps in our life. But we need to take that one step and one step and one step and one step. Let us just keep on taking that one step at a time with great reverence and surety, conviction. In the definition of Abhyasa, what is mentioned? Tatu Dirghakala, Nairantarya, Satkara, Asevito Dhurabhumihi. Satkar, with great reverence. It's not that, okay, I'm doing, oh God, I have to do it, kya kare? No. With complete conviction that yes, it will happen. That conviction you have when you are working for your company or for your boss or for your government, wherever you are working, you have a complete conviction that at the end of the week or at the end of the month, I will get my pay check. There is a complete confidence in my heart. There is no, oh, maybe I will get, maybe I will not get. No, 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 no. Not that way. You have to have complete faith, fixed, unpointed, and over a long period of time. Then you will be able to see all those things. Then you will be able to experience all those things. Right now, and we don't know. अपने नसीब में होगा तो घूम फिर करके आ जाता है और अपने नसीब में नहीं होगा तो सामने से भी निकल जाएगा, पता भी नहीं चलेगा। तो डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट। वो ऊपर वाला बैठा है, ही नोज व्हाट हैज टू बी डन। वी जस्ट लीव दोस थिंग्स टू हिम और हर, गॉड नोज व्हाट्स दैट, हिम और हर। चलिए जी, let us do.
Swami,
हाँ
Swami,
जी,
just one question. Can I ask just one question?
sure.
You start the practices and you start with the Mooladhara,
No,
and lot of
we start
emotions
with
come up.
Ajna. We start with Ajna.
Okay.
Always we should start with Ajna and then go to Mooladhar and start from Mooladhar upwards then.
Okay. But at those stages, lot of things that you have that are buried in your life, they come up. Then what do? You stop the practices or you keep continue it?
You continue. Along with that, the practice of Ujjayi, the practice of Soham is very useful to heal, to channelize, to direct that energy which is coming up. So therefore, don't do only Mooladhara practice or only Swadhisthana practice. Do Ajna, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahat, go back to Ajna, and as if you are doing Chakra awareness, then also become aware of Vishuddhi. So Ajna, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahat, Vishuddhi, Ajna, Ajna, Vishuddhi, Anahat, Manipur, Swadhisthana, Mooladhara, up and down. So hum. Why? Because when you do that, the energy which has been generated is now being shifted in another direction. Over a small period of time, that channelization takes place, not immediately. That is also the reason why I have asked all of you to write that yogic diary, and I'm sure most of you are not writing it. तो खैर हमारा तो काम है बतलाना, करना नहीं करना आपकी मर्जी.
We should
But
do it.
yeah, you should. The yogic diary allows us to take a more objective look at those experiences. Because if there was a negative experience, there was a person who was a bully, then my mind will, whatever that person has done is negative. I have colored him with that black paint, him or her, or that experience. But it is not always so. And when you start making a note in the diary in that format which I have presented, then you will see there is a shift which starts taking place. And when that shift starts taking place, then very quickly, in few months, there's a change which starts taking place within us. So even if those unpleasant thoughts start coming up, we should allow that to happen, but note it down. Because when you note it down, you are on a very, very manifest level. You are acknowledging the presence of that. Many times, just the acknowledgement of that is sufficient, and then that problem resolves itself. We don't know what is going to give us that resolution. Many times, just that acknowledgement, oh yes, this is there, that is there, helps mitigate that problem.
And how much time should we allot every day for this practice?
15 to 20 minutes, max half an hour. Not more than that. Not more than that. If you're doing it daily, 15 to 20 minutes more than sufficient. ज़्यादा नहीं करने की जरूरत है. Do your asanas, do your pranayam, do your chakra shuddhi, हो गया. Because chakra shuddhi is very, very powerful. And it makes a lot of change in our lives. So that is something which should be Done. If you are not able to do daily, then do it alternate day. Do it twice a week. Do it once a week. उससे ज्यादा मत कीजिएगा. At least once a week you should do. ठीक है जी. So yeah, we are coming to the close. Officially, our sessions are coming to a close now. But if any one of you has any difficulty, you can at any given time. I think after a few days, Shilpa is going to close this group. Shilpa? Which is necessary. So
Yes.
there will be so many groups. So that is essential. But we are always in touch. You can anytime you can get in touch with me, and if there is any difficulty, if I am able to be of any help, I'm always available. We can take it. Not that okay, now the course is over, how can I ask him? No, you can always ask me. There's not a problem. Depending on the time at my disposal, it might take a day or two to respond, but respond I will, certainly I will. Close your eyes gently. Awareness at your eyebrow center. Become aware of your Ajna chakra. Draw a horizontal line, exactly horizontal, straight from behind the eyebrow center into the brain. Draw a perpendicular line going just above one ear into the brain, coming out from the other. And that intersection is your Ajna chakra. Ajna, 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 Ajna. Bring your awareness to the base of the perineum. Mooladhar, 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 Mooladhar. Up again, behind the tailbone. Swadhisthana, 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 Swadhisthana. Up again, behind the navel. Manipur, 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 Manipur. Up again, behind the heart. Anahat, 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 Anahat. Up again, behind the sternal notch. Vishuddhi, 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 Vishuddhi. Up again, behind the eyebrow center. Ajna, 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 Ajna. Vishuddhi, 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 Vishuddhi. Anhat, Anahat, 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 Anahat. Manipur, 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 Manipur. Swadhisthana, 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 Swadhisthana. Mooladhar, 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 Mooladhar. Mooladhar, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahat, Vishuddhi, Ajna, Ajna, Vishuddhi, Anahat, Manipur, Swadhisthana, Mooladhar. Become aware of your Ujjayi breath. So, 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 Hum. So. Hum. So. Hum. मूलाधार स्वादिष्ठान मणिपुर अनाहत विशुद्धि आज्ञा आज्ञा विशुद्धि अनाहत मणिपुर स्वादिष्ठान मूलाधार. Maintain your soham awareness for some time, and as you say so and hum mentally, imagine that the chakras are lighting up as we pass them. Else you can feel a soft touch at each of the chakra as you move upwards, whichever is easier. Experience that for some time. With this breath, bring the awareness down to Muladhara. Then bring it back to your Ajna chakra and visualize the form of Guru, the guiding principle. Visualize the form of Param Guru Swami Shivananji Maharaj, Gurudev Swami Satyanandji Maharaj, Gurudev Swami Niranjananandji Maharaj, Peethadhishwari Swami Satyasanganandji Maharaj. This is our Guru Parampara. And maintaining your awareness on their grace and on their presence in our lives through the eyebrow center. Let us get ready to chant the mantra Om 3 times together, taking in a deep breath. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mrutam gamaya sarvesham swasti bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hands in Pranam Mudra. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव. Harihi Om. Hari Om. Tat Sat. Gently rub your palms against each other. Place them on the closed eyes. Experience the warmth radiating from your eyes to the brain, to the body, all around you. And then gently move the palms away. Open your eyes. Hari Om. Tat Sat. Namo Narayan. Jai Ho.